Okay. So sorry, I forgot that. Okay, today's topic is workflows. So overall, we have to understand what is the workflow, why should we go for workflow, when do we use it workflow. So let's take a business scenario that I have a bank organization. So in the bank, I have an account. I have an account from XXXXX 1, 2, 3, 4. This is my bank account. So in my bank account, whenever I deposit the amount, then I wanted to send immediate notification to the customer or SMS notification to customer. So they will getting one email. So as soon as whenever the customer has done with the transaction, it might be deposited or customer, they should be receiving an email so that from that SMS or email notification, they will get to know whether my amount is deposited correctly or not, whether my amount is credited correctly or not, just based on that SMS message, right? As soon as once I credit it, we'll wait for the SMS. As soon as I see that SMS in my mobile, then we feel little bit relaxed that, okay, my whatever the amount is there, it is credited in my bank account. So the entire flow is banking. In the banking, customers deposited or withdraw. Then we wanted to send a SMS or email. Now tell me, in a day, thousands of customers are coming into the bank. They will do deposit, they will do withdraw, they will do credited. A lot of things is going to happen in the bank. Now, who is going to do this? Who is the responsible to track, okay, this person came, okay, this person has credited or this person deposited. Now I have to send an email. Let's write an email and send it to this person. Who will do that? So,
application.
Sorry?
Application.
Yes, application, but again, how? We have to make it automate. Even if the application is there, so if one person, if it is dedicated to send an SMS through the application, if you keep one person to that, every day that person will be doing the same thing, only the change is account number, customer name, only that change. And what are the deposited or credited. Only those information he has to change and send an email or SMS through the application. See here, a lot of time we are spending it just to send an information. Cannot we automate this process? Because I'll be having a customer details in my bank organization. There is a one record where it will be stored, this person account and what is the email and account number, everything is stored into the one object in Salesforce. So as soon as the person is credited, that means there is an update happened on his account. It was 10,000. No, he deposited 5,000. So total 15,000. There is some amount added on top of the existing amount. So let's go ahead and send an email. So let's automate. A lot of time we are going to save it. There is no human being hand is not required. Without that, we can automate this entire process. That means So as soon as the message is sent or as soon as the operation is done, then we can automate that process, whatever is there next thing, right? Suppose you are not performing any bank transaction. There is another scenario. Okay, there is another business scenario. As per the bank policy, you are not performing any transaction. From last 6 months or 1 year, there is no transactions were not done. So what should happen? Automatically the account should be logged because nobody is using that account. So as per the bank policy, they log the account. And one more business scenario, let's take it as like, for example, I'm reserving the movie ticket. Right? As soon as I book movie ticket, then I should get some message immediately saying that your so and so movie is booked this time and this slot on this day. So that is also automatic process. I just need to go to the app, select the places and click on those seats and submit it. As soon as this submit is done, my work is done. Now rest of the things our system is going to take care. Same thing for travel, right? Travel is also, if I book any ticket, I should be getting a notification immediately as soon as it is booked. So that means we have a various use cases everywhere we are automating in our day-to-day life. Whatever you do in your day-to-day life, half of the things are which are automated. So in Salesforce term, when we say automate is nothing but workflow rules is the one which we can use it in order to automate the business process. What is the workflow? Workflow rule are used to automate certain business process inside the organization. Right? So fine, workflow is to automate the business process. I have understood. Okay. Now how to do it, and how do I know that when to declare the workflow rule? I understand business process. Okay, this is to automate the certain business process. That is clear. But what I need to mention in the workflow? What are the things that I have to do in the workflow in order to automate the business process? In order to automate the business, sorry?
Yeah, right, sorry.
So in order to automate the business process, I wanted to know two things. What is the event? And what is the action? Two things I need to know. So these are called as a workflow rule. Any workflow, whether what are the workflow you will go, you have to know event. Event is nothing but when to fire the workflow. Event is also called as evaluation criteria. Event is also called as evaluation criteria. What is the event means? When to fire the workflow. Do I need to fire this workflow every day? Do I need to fire this workflow once in a year? Do I need to fire this workflow whenever there is a transaction that happens in the bank account? When I have to fire? So that is declared by the event. So in my previous example, like whatever I have said, like whatever I have explained, business scenario. Okay. So let me draw this. So right now I have a custom object. Let's take that this object name is customer object. Let's assume that this is the object name. You all are aware of the object, right, in Salesforce? Is everybody aware of the object?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So inside this custom object, which is a customer object, I have a fields. I have a custom fields. Let's assume that there are 4 custom fields are there. First one is account number and customer name. What is the balance? Is it active or not? There are 2 fields are there. So for custom fields, how it will be there for the custom fields? How do you identify what is the difference between, like, how do you identify standard field and custom field?
Underscore three underscores starts with
2
the field
underscore.
name.
It's
2
not a
underscores.
3.
Yeah, sorry, 2 underscores. Yeah.
Right. So custom fields are always underscore underscore C. So these are the custom fields. Okay. Let's add some data here in the account. This is account number 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's say customer name is Shruti. And balance 15,000. Is it active? Yes. Let's take another account. 567. Naveen. Let's add the balance. 42,000. Is it active? Yes. And last one more record. 3, 4, 5. Shravan. $24,000. Yes. So this is how the records will be in Salesforce. Exactly this way, right? Whenever you open any customer object or any account object or anything, you see this table format, right? So right now we have the information, account number, customer name, balance, active. Okay. For example, right now Shruti has 50,000 balance account. Now what Shruti will do? Shruti will deposit 5,000 amount. As soon as the 5,000 is deposited, it has to add on the existing one 15,000 plus it has to add 5,000. So which is equal to 20,000 amount. Right now balance is 20,000 amount. So as soon as the Shruti record is updated, as soon as this record is updated, what we wanted to do, we wanted to send an SMS or an email. So what I have to do in order to send an SMS and workflow, we know that we have to implement the workflow. We know that we have to implement a workflow. Where do I need to implement the workflow rule? I need to implement the workflow rule on the object level. That means whenever I'm implementing the workflow rule, I should know for which object am I implementing the workflow rule. Because whenever I start creating the workflow rule, it asks, system will ask, where do you want to create? Which object, on which object do you want to create a workflow rule? So we have to give the object name. So right now we wanted to implement the workflow rule on the customer object. Whenever there is any update on the balance, we wanted to fire a automatic process. We wanted to fire automatic process for what? For sending a SMS or email. For sending an SMS or email. Who will send? Workflow rule. It will fire immediately. So this is the immediate action that is going to happen. So that means here workflow rule will always fire on the custom object. It is going to fire on custom object, which is called as a customer object. On the customer object, whenever there is any update happens on the balance, that means this flow, whatever this is there, which is always fired after update. That means once the data is stored into my database. So how the flow will happen? Flow will happen. First, this one will execute it. Now Shruti deposited the amount, right? So she deposited the 5,000 amount. That is the first step. Now, as soon as the 5,000 is deposited, the second step is the balance amount needs to be updated. The balance need to update. So without update, I should not be sending a message, right? Once it is done, then only I have to send the information. So this is second step. What is happening on the second step? It took the 5,000. It added the 5,000 to the existing balance, which is a 15,000. Now in my record, whenever I open next time my account, it should show 20,000 records. That means 20,000 should be updated within my Salesforce database. As soon as the Salesforce database is updated, then the workflow should fire. So here in between, we'll have a Salesforce database. So Salesforce database is the third step that is getting updated. Once it is updated, now the workflow rule has to fire. That is, after successfully everything is updated into the account, there was no issue while updating the balance. There was no issue while updating the balance. That means everything successfully updated into the Salesforce database. Then go ahead and fire the workflow rule, which is after update. And what is the workflow rule? Why I want the workflow rule? To send SMS or email, which is an immediate action that immediately I wanted to send this SMS to this person. Is it clear? Any questions on this?
No, ma'am, it's clear.
Okay, what is the workflow rule?
Automate business process based on some conditions. It perform actions whenever record is inserted or updated.
Okay. Venkatesh? What is the workflow rule? Vivek?
Yeah, it is a condition of, it is actually multiple factors depending upon the updation and the condition. When we have updates and with conditions, then we need to apply the workflow rules.
Okay. Akhil, what is the workflow rule?
After update any record, hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
After updating the record, that should be like send a like email or SMS to the user.
Okay. Venkat, what is the workflow rule?
So did you call me, ma'am? My name is Padmaja, but I have logged in by my husband's name.
Oh,
That's
sorry,
why
I
I
don't know
didn't
that.
realize he. No, sorry. I didn't realize I logged in by his ID. I'll change that. Okay. So workflow rule is automation of certain process. Like once a record is inserted or updated, certain actions are automated to after the update of that record.
Okay.
I believe actually it is a combination of updation, action, and the information to the user or the client.
Okay. We'll see that further. What are the actions? What are the things you said? We'll see that. But remember, from today onwards, whatever you do, like you are booking a ticket, you are booking a movie ticket, or you are booking a travel ticket, or you are depositing some amount in the bank, think in the backside saying that, okay, as soon as this is done, my work is done, they might have written some automation rule on this so that I have received an SMS, so that I have received an email. Connect this scenario with your real life. Then only you will understand the Salesforce concept. Salesforce is nowhere. So Salesforce it's just around us only. So whatever you are doing in ordering something or some big basket or something, you are ordering it. Okay, once your order is done, you receive an SMS. That is also automation. And they will give you some updates. Where are the person whoever is delivering it? Where is this person? Whether it is delivered or not. So that is also automation. So that is also Salesforce. Everything, connect this from today onwards. You have to remember the workflow, whatever you do it. You book a ticket, or you book a travel ticket, or you book a movie ticket, or you order something on the online, everything is automatic. That is the workflow rule. Now let's go in depth. Now in the workflow rules are two types. One is an event and second one is action. Event is when to fire this workflow. Now in this scenario, whatever I have explained, when to fire a scenario? After update. That means once my balance is updated. How do I know whether my balance is updated or not? I'll check whether my previous balance and current balance is same or not. If it is a not same, that means there is some update happened on the balance. Is my previous and current balance same or not? If it is a not, that is the event. I'm saying that whenever the balance is updated, then that is the event. That time I wanted to fire a workflow. So now next thing is that action. Action means once the workflow is fired, what actions that I need to do? What is the action that I need to perform? Action means once the workflow has been fired, then what operations? What operations we want to perform? What operation we want to perform? This is the scenario. Action is sending an email. Sending an email. That is my action. Right? So in this scenario, that is my action. Sending an email. So sometimes few members ask a question. Can you make your workflow rule? Like, can I create a workflow rule? Multiple objects, right? What I'm saying is, can I make my workflow rule to work on multiple objects? Now I have written one workflow rule to fire immediate email. I wanted to work this workflow rule on the customer object, as well as I want to fire it on new customer object. There are two objects are there, customer object, new customer object. I wanted to fire the same workflow on multiple objects. Is it possible? So there is a question came that, okay, right now I have implemented a workflow rule on the customer object. Now I have a same scenario on new customer object also. So can I use the same workflow on the other object? No, that is not possible. Because workflow and custom object or the object is one-to-one relationship. Custom object and workflow are one-to-one relationship. One custom object will have one workflow. Or more in detail, one object is connected to only one workflow. Now there is another scenario. Okay, can I have a multiple workflow rules on single object? Yes, you can have a multiple workflows on a single object. So this is the customer object. Or let's say more in generic, this is the object. On the object, I can create multiple workflow rules. I can create multiple workflow rules. It is possible. This one is possible. Like I can create a workflow 1, workflow 2, workflow 3, workflow 4, workflow 5. This is possible. But whereas I have a one workflow. Okay, I have a one workflow. I have a workflow 1. This is object 1, object 2, object 3, object 4, object 5. So can I link one workflow to the multiple objects?
No.
Now can we link one workflow to multiple objects?
No, we cannot.
No.
Why?
Because it's a one-to-one.
One-to-one.
Yes, it's a one-to-one relationship. So workflow I cannot link to the multiple objects. I cannot link, this does not work.
But will all the workflow can work at a single time for a single object?
For all
Like-
workflows, can it be possible in single time executing on the object? Right, that is your question.
Yes.
Tell me how it is possible. Now just
Actually-
think in generic. No, I'm not asking about Salesforce. Just think in generic. You have a multiple work you have to do. Okay, you have to go out to do something and you have so many tasks you have to complete today. Can you do it within 1 hour?
No.
You cannot. You list down the everything. Okay, first you have to do, because that is a high priority. Then you have to do the second, then you have to do the third. You list down everything, all the tasks, what you have to complete today, right? Same
Yes.
thing at the workflow. You decide, as a developer, you decide which workflow should fire first. Upon executing the workflow third, I wanted to execute the workflow 1. You decided whatever the sequence you wanted, you decided based on the priority or based on the update. But in the real-time scenario, creating a multiple workflows is not a good idea. In real-time project, do not create multiple workflows for one object. If you create multiple workflows, you will know that what is happening step by step. For example, on the object, there are 10 workflow rules are there. Today you have written 10 workflow rules. You have written, so that's why you know which workflow is executing where. Now, tomorrow one more person will come, or they have extended the business logic. When they extended the business logic, it is too much confusing for the developer. Now, first of all, they think that why the 10 workflows, like why do we need to have a 10 workflows? Now combine that everything into one workflow, because anyway you are doing it for one object. For one object, we are doing the 10 workflows. Why do we wanted to go separate each one workflow? That is waste of our time. Also, organization wise, we have a limitations. We can create a maximum of 500 rules per object. Now, if I create a 10, 15 workflow rules for small thing, it's a waste. I'm doing the waste of it. I can combine everything and create it in one, so that I'll be having a 499 workflow rules is pending. I can use it for the later business cases. So we can create maximum of 500 workflow rules per object. Out of that, 50 can be active. 50 can be active status, 450 will be inactive status. If you are going with a 51 workflow rule active, then system is going to score. First of all, we do not need at all 50 active state. That is not at all required. I have not seen in my career. Max of max, I have seen 2 workflows.
Oh, is it applicable to all the editions? Is there any difference in the limitations, like 500 workflows per object? You said, is it for unlimited edition or which edition?
Any addition.
Any edition.
Yes.
Fine, thank you.
As of now, I know unlimited is 500 workflows. That is unsure.
Oh,
So workflows are basically, if you imagine, it's kind of a pluggable component. You switch on to work, you switch off to deactivate it. It's kind of a plug in, plug out. If you want to execute this workflow rule, switch on it. There is a one field which is called as a active flag. If you check that active flag true, then this workflow is going to work on this object. When it is going to work, you have to write the event, when to fire the event. So if you switch off this workflow, it doesn't execute. It's kind of a pluggable component. So if the workflow rule is in inactive status, that means it will not fire. Whatever you do, it will not fire. The Salesforce system itself does not look at the inactive workflow rules. It doesn't care. Right? So this is per object 500 workflow rules, but overall in the organization, we can create 2000 active workflows. 2000 active workflow rules in the organization. I'm not talking about object specific. In the organization, in the Salesforce organization, I can create 2000 active workflow rules. If you have 1,000 object and each object 20 active workflows, that means is equal to 2000. That is more enough in the real time. We do not use it that much. Okay, now let's go ahead and see what are the events. Event, evaluation criteria. Basically, events to describe the occasion or the situation when the workflow rule has to be get fired. That situation will be indicated by the condition that we are going to mention. So yeah, let's take one example. Okay, you came to a small occasion. Okay, assume that it's a marriage occasion or anything, birthday occasion or small occasion. And they are conducting some activities. In that occasion or in that function, they are conducting some activities. In birthday function, they are conducting some activities for the birthday. Right? They have planned, the steps they planned is buffet dinner in the evening time, then gift distribution program after 30 minutes or 7:30, some games, 8 o'clock, 8:30, then gossip or something. Now they have divided this time. Or you go team outing. When you go for team outing from the organization, you have to plan your day. From morning 7 a.m. to evening 6 p.m. you have to plan your day for entire members, whoever is coming for the team outing. Before lunch, what are the activities should happen? After the lunch, what are the activities should happen? You have to plan it, right? And they will tell exact time. Okay, 2 o'clock is 2 o'clock is the lunch time. So team will take 1 hour time. So after 3 o'clock, maybe half an hour break, and 3:30 they will start the games. So these all schedules you have to plan it. So events are nothing but you have to plan when to fire, like when to start the event, when to start the games, when to start lunch. So Salesforce has 3 events. Salesforce has 3 events. First of all, what is the event? Event is nothing but event describes when the workflow rule should be getting fired. So when the workflow rule should get fired. This is the event. So Salesforce has provided 3 events. One is created. Second one is created. and every time it is edited. Every time it is edited. And the third one is created anytime it is edited. Anytime it is edited. And then meeting subscription criteria. Meeting subsequent criteria. There are 3 events that are provided by Salesforce. One is created, second one is created and every time it is edited. Third one is created and any time it is edited, as well as meeting the subsequent criteria. Now, what is the created? Created. What is the created? Created means whenever a new record has been created inside the object. That means whenever you enter the information and you click on a save, completely new record, it is not there in the Salesforce database. Whenever you create a new record, then a workflow has to be fired. So what is the event? Event is created. Created means it will fire the workflow rule once a new record has been created inside the object. Created inside the object. Right? And the second event. What is the second event? Created and every time it is edited. That means this event is whenever a new record is created inside the object or updated inside the object. That means on creation of the record as well as on updating the record, I wanted to fire this workflow. It will fire the workflow rule once a new record has been created inside the object. And when a record has been updated inside the object. Basically created and every time edited is nothing but after insert and after update. Whereas created event is only after insert. After insert is done, then this event is going to fire. Now created and every time it is edited is every time whenever you edit it. And the third one is created and any time it is edited and meeting subsequent criteria. The third one is nothing but once a new record has been created successfully inside the object, as well as upon updating the record, which meets the specific condition. What is the difference between the created, the second one and third one? Second one is created and every time it is edited. Third time is created any time it is edited and meeting subsequent criteria. It says every time. It says any time. Any time is nothing but there is a specific condition. Now I do not want to fire the third one every time. Now whenever I'm updating it, I do not want to fire this workflow. there is a specific condition is updated by the user, then only fire the third one. Created any, it is updated, edited, and meeting subsequent criteria. So the third one is it will fire the workflow rule once a new record has been created successfully inside the object, and will fire the workflow rule upon updating the record which meets the subsequent or specified condition. Please note down the definitions. Chandrasekhar, what are the different event types we have?
Sorry, different event types.
Yeah.
This created and all these things, right?
Yeah, what are those? What are the different events that is Salesforce is provided? What are the 3 events that is provided by Salesforce within the workflow?
No flow.
Sharath?
It's created and every time edited, created and any time it is edited. 3 types of events.
Okay.
And is there any event for deletion?
No, we cannot do delete. We cannot do delete using
But
the
that is not
workflows.
an event type, right? That's a criteria, right? Like
Yeah, that is a criteria. But
criteria on the event, right? Like
yes, that is true. But delete is not possible.
so
we
that's
should
what I
not be
was
doing the delete.
I was confused, right? Because like those are the criteria, I think, for an event.
Yeah, what are the 3 criteria?
So created and created, update, and created. Not exactly the numbers, but the three types like criteria we have.
Okay. So what is the difference between the created and every time edited, created anytime edited, meeting subsequent? Naveen?
Yep, created and every time it is edited. This is like whenever the new record is created, as well as the record is modified every time. The second one is when the new record is created and when it is updated, when it is meeting certain condition kind of thing.
Right. So you have to remember this criteria clearly, because tomorrow in interview they will ask, what are the 3 different criteria are there? Or they will say that, okay, whenever you are creating the workflow rule, what events when you will fire the event, on which basis. So these are the interview questions that can come up. So created, and every time it is edited, created anytime it is edited, and meeting subsequent criteria. These are the 3 events, or these are the 3 evaluation criteria. We call them as an event, we call them as an evaluation criteria. Now, whenever you are writing a workflows, delete does not work here. We are not going to delete any record. Whatever in entire flow, we are not going to touch the delete part at all.
Is it because of the record is not physically deleted and just updated kind of thing?
That flexibility is not there with the workflow.
Okay.
Okay. Now we are clear when to fire an event. On creation, or on creation and update, or on creation, update if meeting the specific condition. We are clear on the when to fire event. Now, what actions do I need to do? First of all, what is the actions? What do you mean by action? So actions are when workflow rules fire, what actions need to be done? So whenever it is fired, what actions needs to be done? In workflow rule, we can add multiple actions. That means when workflow rule is fired, then one or more number of actions can be performed. One or more number of actions can be performed. What are the actions that we can do?
Like sending a mail, outbound messages,
Email alerts,
Notification.
Notification comes into the email alert.
Okay.
Field update,
Field update,
Outbound.
assigning a task, and then outbound message.
Any report generation, is it possible?
No, that is completely different topic, report generation. We are
Okay.
talking about workflow rules, automating the flows. The report is the data for management to see how much sale happened. That is just a data. Report does not come here.
Okay. No, I think it's a workflow, so we can't add any like a task to create the report in the workflow.
That's altogether different topic. Let's
Okay,
not divide
okay.
there.
Yeah, okay. No, just I was asking like, okay.
So actions is nothing but we can specify the list of actions can be performed through the workflow. So whenever the workflow is fired on creation, whenever the workflow is fired, then I wanted to do the action, sending an email, updating the field, assigning a task, or outbound message. So these are the various workflow rules can be performed. I can send an email, I can update a field value. I cannot update field. It's a field value I can update. Update a field value, assign a task, outbound message. Now, what is the email alert? Email alerts are basically we can send an email to customer. Send an email to customer. As soon as the customer is deposited 5,000, I wanted to send an email. As soon as a new account is created in the bank or new account is opened, then I wanted to send an email. Right, sending an email. So by using this action, we can send an email notification to one or more users. One or more users. One is mandatory, whom to send. I need to know the customer email ID. That is in the to address or recipient email ID. But I can also CC myself just to make sure that if the email is delivered to the correct customer or not. So I can send an email notification to one or more users. And whenever we are sending an email alert, we have to use the template. So what is the email alert means? Here in terms of, let me save this. What is the email alert means? What is this? Have you completed the email templates and email alerts? Whoever is coming from admin session, did you complete it?
No.
No.
Okay. So email alerts is an outer box. So first of all, before I touch email alerts, what is the thing that I need is the body, the template body. What is the content that I wanted to send? I need that information. So that information is called as an email template. Email template is which has a subject, and it also has the description. What is the content that I wanted to send? Description is nothing but the body or the text that we are going to get. Congratulations for creating a new account in the bank. So what are the information, the main content is there, that is a description. So I'll implement this template or think as it is a blueprint. Okay, I can use this email template, any email alert. That means this is completely a separate box. Email template is a separate box. Email template is a separate box. Now I have a 4 or 5 email alerts. Then you might be getting a question, okay, email template has a subject and description. What else will be there in the email alerts? Why do I need an email alerts when I have a main information in the email template? Email template is just a content will be there. But email template does not tell whom to send. It does not tell whom to send, who are the to address, who are the CC address, and additional CC address also. And from address. So basically email alerts role is Who is sending this? Whom do I need to send? Who all do I need to include in this email while sending it? And is there additional information, additional CC address? Do I need to include it? So these all information sits in the email alert. Now what you will do, you will bring this email template. You will bring this email template and then you merge with the email alert. Okay, you have this information. Take this email template. Okay, now you have a complete email, the format of the email that we are going to send. Now I can use this email template in the email alert 1. I can use it in the email alert 2. I can use it in the email alert 3. Multiple email alerts can be used. Same templates can be used by multiple email alerts. If you are not speaking, please mute yourself.
I think you can put all in mute.
వాడేమో పెద్ద ఏదో చెప్తున్నాడు శివగాడేమో మామూలు బ్లడ్ ఇన్ఫెక్షన్ అది అని చెప్పాడు నాకు.
Bhanu, can you mute yourself? I know that is an important call for you. Can you mute it, please?
Maybe can you mute, like, I think everyone? Yeah.
Thank you. So email template is a template that has a subject and main content information there in the email template. Now email alert decide who is sending, whom to send, who is the CC, who is the additional address. So these information sits in the email alerts. So I can use the same email template. I can merge with multiple email alerts. So this is the overall structure about the email alerts. So by using this email notification, I can send one or more users. To address is anyway mandatory. Recipient, CC, additional CC address, you can enter more than one email address. And in order to send the email alert, what are the prerequisites that we needed? We should have an email template. When you are sending an email alert from the workflow role, the prerequisites are you need to have an email template. Find out the email template, the right email template that you wanted to send that has the right subject and the right content. Right? That is the prerequisite. In case if you do not have an email template, you have to create an email template for this workflow and include that email template in the email alert. Right? Okay. I'm getting delay for another class. So till this point, is it clear? Till email alert.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's clear. Yep.
It's clear.
Yes.
What are the 3 different evaluation criteria we have in the workflow?
One is created,
Created, and
anytime
every time
created,
edited.
Created
anytime it is
and meeting subsequent.
To meet the subsequent criteria.
Okay. What is the action?
An action is a thing that that is fired once after the workflow.
after the event been completed.
Yeah.
Okay. So write down the interview questions. Tomorrow before you come to the class, send me the answers for these questions. Interview questions are: what is workflow? What are the various actions can be performed in workflow? What are the different type of events or evaluation criteria? How many actions can we create on workflow? Per organization. How many workflow rules created? What is the maximum number of workflows can be created per object? What is the difference between created, every time, edited, and created, anytime, edited, and meeting subsequent? What is the workflow email alert? What is email template? Right, these are the interview questions. Is everyone noted?
Yes. So this workflows can be on standard objects also, right? The same thing which.
Yes, standard, custom, object, basically object.
Object. Yep.
So the fourth question, how many actions can we create? So the action is like sending an email, those kind of actions, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there a number or is just like a multiple actions kind of
Yeah. Or you can say, is Salesforce has any standard number of actions, or like just you're asking like how many can we create, like
singular, multiple kind of?
My question is, how many actions can we create on workflow?
Okay, that for
okay.
email alerts update. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
4. Okay, 4. Okay.
So we'll move on to the next class. Let me stop recording.
One question actually I have. In this, you told that maximum number of 50 per object we can create the workflows.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, and 2000 per organization. So that means that we are considering that 8 objects we can apply 50 workflows maximum.
Yeah,
8,
you do the calculation. Okay. So
yeah,
that
yeah.
is the as per the Salesforce limitations, 2000 per organization, 50.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Can you hear
Yep.
us?
Yep.
Yeah,
yep,
yeah,
yep.
it's
We can hear
clear.
you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's reviewable.
Okay. So you do the calculation how you wanted to go ahead. So that is what Salesforce defined the 2000. Okay. Now I have to shift.
one question.
Yep.
Sorry, ma'am. Where to send? You send, we have to send this, prepare this answers and send it to you, right?
Yes, Samskar ID.
Samskar. Okay, fine.
Yep. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. I'll quickly stop and